Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first day of 2021. I feel it. I feel that this is just a new time where we can come into our power, better build strength of community, and produce from our own personal creativity. It's an amazing time. It's a time that's just so very inspiring. I believe there's going to be a brighter, more loving, shining light coming from us, and that could also mean a greater darkness and evil of life, because I think many of you know at this point there's a spiritual war going on. There are things that are beyond our own comprehension that I'm not here to convince people about, but we all know that life is a struggle every day. That's a good, simple way of keeping it. And my goal here is to find the solutions, provide answers. What can I bring to the table, and what can you bring to the table as we progress in this fantastical time? And there's many topics to cover. I don't want to be restricted to one specific study or anything, but one thing that's been on my mind is health, especially on a physical degree. So one question I've been asking is, how are we getting the right potassium levels in our body? How are we getting our potassium? Now that sounds very specific, because there's so many minerals and vitamins that our body needs, but that one to me is a good example because it seems like a master mineral. It does so much for us, and yet when you look around, how are we getting it in our body? It's not in our environment for us to be getting those adequate levels, and that's true for a lot of vitamins. There's people in this world, in this day and age, that you and I may know that are overweight, and yet most likely they don't have their adequate vitamins and minerals. They're still deficient of what the body needs. So when it comes down to it, you could go to a supplement store, and I think supplements can be a really good thing if you are wise about it and careful. And if you look for potassium supplements, you'll find that every single one maxes out at 2% daily value. It only goes up to 99 milligrams of potassium in a supplement, in one or two, that you can take a day. Because doctors, and I believe the Surgeon General advises that you can't go above that level of supplementation because the type of potassium that you can supplement is dangerous for the body. It could cause heart palpitations. And I'm not going to deny that. That could be a very serious risk to be aware of so that we don't overstep our boundaries when it comes to trying to supplement minerals. What they do advise is we get it from our foods. Okay, sure, that makes a lot of sense. We should be getting our minerals and nutrients from our foods and eating to heal. But where is it in our foods? Right? It's said to be very high in our bananas and our kale. I believe Brazil nuts and other nuts have potassium. But in this day and age, it's not present in a lot of what we're eating, in a lot of the natural foods, even the organic bananas and the organic kale and what have you. The potassium and other minerals, magnesium, are deficient. In this day and age, you'd have to eat 10, 11, 12 bananas in just a day to get your daily value of potassium. I mean, that's way too much sugar for the body. You couldn't poop with that, so that's not practical. So this potassium topic is just a small example. What do we do? What are the solutions? And I believe there are some. As far as I know, I don't know everything about it, but coconut water is an amazing thing because in about 8 ounces, I believe there's about 10-15% daily value of potassium naturally. There's something called no salt, which is a salt alternative, so it's a way of cutting out your sodium intake. If you're one to cook with a lot of salt or eat salty foods, you can switch to no salt. And that, I believe, is also potassium chloride, which may be the same chemical in potassium supplements, but you can mix it in with your foods. You can get about 15% in a quarter teaspoon. So a very nice way of boosting potassium levels in the body is putting a little bit of no salt in potassium. That's something I try to do fairly often nowadays, and I'm feeling better than ever before because the pursuit is to reach our adequate levels of minerals and vitamins that the body needs. Now, you and I both don't know what that exactly how to do that, I should say, how to get the proper levels of nutrition. But when it comes to physical health, that I think is truly one of the keys and stepping stones towards our highest nature, not only in the physical sense, but for us to become our truest, best selves, we need to fuel this human body in the best possible way. I don't know about you or the state of the world, but where I come from and who I am, I've always been very insecure. I was a very weak child growing up. And, you know, I'll admit that has a lot to do with my own decisions and my own fault, but also I've learned it's the environment we come from, and I think it's ever present. It's a huge epidemic within cities, any modern city, that we don't have what we really need, that we're bombarded with really negative electromagnetic frequencies, the education is poor, just the overall environment and lifestyle that we're given and the nutrients, it's very deficient, and we're very disconnected from certain truths that are necessary for our being. So the real goal here of this channel is to bring about an enlivening education and inspiration and awareness, a connectivity and cohesion between us as human beings and community, so that we can become our best selves, so that we can become more confident people and supersede all the issues that we're dealing with of our current times. You know, when we feel weak, when we feel inept socially, or what have you, it has a lot to do with the fact that we're not giving our body the proper daily lifestyle, the proper nutrients, the proper engagement. You know, in this day and age, we're trying to disconnect and just sit in our homes by ourselves because we want to live longer. Yet, what is it worth? So, I believe we as a collective are here to pursue a greater way of living, such that we become so confident, so fully in our passion and in our creativity, that the place we used to be of whether it's social awkwardness or lack of purpose, lack of health, is so far in the past, and we can help teach people who may be in situations of, you know, unhealth, insalubrious activity, how to best awaken. You know, diet and exercise on the physical level is great. It's said to be paramount, and in a sense it still is. We need diet and exercise. But it's not about something we force. And that's why so many people dread it. It's about hacking that. It's about releasing all the dross, cleansing the body from all the gunk that we don't need in our body, and filling it with everything it needs in the right levels. Because then our machine, our body, much like a car, once it has all the proper fluids, the cleanest proper, you know, oils and gas and coolant and everything is there and mended properly, then the car can begin to run. And where the analogy doesn't really work is with a car, you know, the more you drive it, you can run the car down. But in the human system, it's usually best for us to begin to move our bodies more and more each and every day, to begin to exercise. Another topic with regards to health is our bodies need us to be taking big, long, full breaths every day. Our bodies want us to. For me, I've noticed that's when I don't take breaths that are deep. It's a source of anxiety, can build up in the solar plexus area. And there can be other reasons that happens. Diet is also connected to it. But our bodies want us to be doing big, full, nice, long, and even sometimes slow breaths. But often, I suffer with this, is when I'm not focused and conscious of it, I naturally don't breathe deeply. I barely breathe. It's like if I had a waveform between like an in-breath and an out-breath. You know, what we're supposed to be doing is a nice, full, big wave, but usually when we're unconscious, the wave isn't going all the way in or all the way out, and it's quicker. It's like we're barely hyperventilating or something. So exercise, of course, is paramount for a lot of reasons, moving the blood and just so many things, and sweating, but it's also pushing our body it forces us to breathe so deeply and heavily. So even if you can't get exercise, to make sure, take time to really deeply breathe, because it changes the mental awareness. It's just so good for us. So again, minerals, everything. I don't want to talk too much solely about just physical health. In this video, I'm not going to get into emotional health, spiritual health, stuff of that nature. It all plays a role. It's all very important. I mean, when we're holding on to negative emotions, negative feelings, or just bad thought patterns, that's often a stagnancy that's keeping us from our greatest life. That's something that holds us down, and I know that very well. I think we all do on some level. have attachments that we need to just loosen from. Though, again, I want to talk about what's substantial, what's more scientific, because some people aren't really ready for that topic. Although it plays a huge role when we have emotional diseases, in a sense, it can manifest as physical, illnesses. So there's so many ways to tackle it. There's so many things to talk about, subtle energies and what truly heals us, what we're truly here to do and pursue, and how to be our greatest self. This video is just a ramble. I plan to have more planned out topics as time goes on, but yeah, if this inspires you, see what happens in the pursuit of getting what your body needs, cleansing what your body doesn't need. I'm not saying we can all just eat the most perfect, healthy foods. I think we all are here to experience some of the just gritty, earthly experience. But to always pursue cleansing when we overindulge or what have you, and just better changing the diet over time. These are long changes into health, the transformation into being healthy. I'm rambling at this point. But yeah, I hope this was inspiring. Let's see what 2021 brings, but more importantly, let's see what we bring to 2021 and what we can create and how we can better come together and build our own power as communities here in and out of these cities. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a fantastic, amazing year and infinity ahead and what have you. Yabba dabba doobie, gooby wooby.